Hello and welcome to another edition of the Akashic Swan Weekly. We're looking at the week of October 4th through 10th, 2021. We do have a new moon on the 6th of October. And yes, lots of very interesting energy. 13 degrees, so we know this is a fateful time of death, rebirth, reclaiming power, energy, etc., that we've given away or has been buried. Yes, so quite a lot of energy moving, shifting, changing. I'm Jen Dishen of jendishen.com, Akashic Swan Guidance, and I'm using the Illuminating Journey cards I created with the guidance of the Akashic Records. Let's see what the cards have to say. So, first card is the 27. So, first of all, the first thing that my eye goes to is the 27. And that's a 9, it's about endings. We're in October, so October is a 10-month, which is about new beginnings. It's about shifting focus, starting, going forward. It also gives us a glimpse into 2022, because we're in a 5 universal year plus 1 from the 10, and that gives us a 6, which is the year we're going to be in next year, the universal year. So there is a lot of energy around reclaiming who we are, reclaiming the energy of who we are, the lightness of our being, the parts of ourselves that have been shadowed or denied or hidden, the ability for us to override our conditioning. There's actually interesting, besides the new moon in Libra, which is helping us to balance the scales and all of the energy that it's tapping into, some really fast moving, intense energy. We also have Pluto moving out of retrograde, so that's massive because it's about the birth, death, rebirth cycle. It's about rising out or breaking that cycle of imprisonment in some way that we have felt disempowered. And also, I think in 4 days after, so a couple of hours after the new moon, Pluto stations direct. 4 days later, Saturn stations direct, I believe. So very intense. We also have Mercury in retrograde. So there's a lot of movement and flow, shifting realizations, awareness, can be intensity, very active, disturbing things happening. But all of these things, as shocking as they may be, if they show up in our lives, they're an opportunity for us to stop kind of holding our breath and taking action and going, okay, now I'm released from this old stuff that I've been holding on to. I'm kind of, my illusions have been shattered, which of course is good, because then we have this capacity right here in this card to rise above. So I do believe having this card in the first position for this week is telling us about the optimal place that we need to be as we move through this time. The optimal place for us is to be in a place of faith, in a place of hope, in a place of joy, knowing we create the reality. And not only that, but that we're being given an opportunity to create our reality in a different way, to shape the path forward, knowing that all things come from us and to us when we're in that place of equilibrium, of love, of trust, of knowing. It's not to say we override the horrible things that are happening or the suffering, but it really is to understand that we need to stop playing to that stuff and move away or fly above that experience. So we begin to see things from a different perspective. We begin to know ourselves from a different perspective. And, I just love, here we have that feather, the feather flying through, which is all part of this time we're in, balancing the scales, understanding the truth of our nature. And what gives us freedom is our ability to rise above the conditioning or the things we think that are trapping us, and to see the world differently and to live differently. That's the key, right? When we spouting things in terms of, oh, this is the way it should be and this is what we need to do, that may not be useful. But if we're actually doing it, if we're living it, then we begin to understand the power of taking the pause, of going, this is happening, let me pause, let me discern, let me not use my anger against myself and others, but let me focus that energy towards this, towards doing what I'm here to do, towards moving myself and the situation more aligned to what really is true, what is behind the curtain, what is the truth of how I want to live, and how do I get there? How do I do this? Float above the storm. And you can see it takes energy, it takes focus to be in this place of receiving light and keeping the carpet flying, right? So just not a thing like, oh, I'm like, oh, la, 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 I don't need to do anything. No, this is a very deliberate opportunity. This is a very deliberate form of flying, of rising above what's been, seeing the world differently, adopting a new focus. What do I want to do? What is necessary to do? What can I see instead of what I've seen? And how can I put an end to interacting with relationships that just have me spiraling round and round? At the end of the day, it's always up to us, right? So how profound that we have as the second card, one of the tools, the divine line. It does not come up very often. So I love that it's come up here, because it's really reminding us that in order to, go through change, in order to experience what is available in this opportunity to be empowered, is to take our power, take that line, that cell phone to the divine, ask for what we need, get very clear about what we're looking for, where we need support, what is true for us. So there's also some kind of options here on the cell phone, which is you can eject, you can play, you can record, you can music, you can align, you can infuse. So there's all of these ways that you become more connected to your divine nature, more connected to being in this space where you're above what's happening, but still impacting what's happening, because you're impacted. Everything is connected. I also find it interesting that the white is standing out. So looking at the white of the feather, the number, the energy in the background, the light coming down, and the background of the divine line. So you're really looking at how you can articulate what you need help with. What do you need to know? What do you need to find out? What do you need to ascertain? Where do you need to focus so that you can start narrowing that path so you can truly be here in the zone of being who you are, creating the miracles that are available to you. And here we have the third and final card, and so interesting. I think this card has shown up the last 3 times, or certainly a lot of times in the last 2 readings, which talks about the opportunity, right? So you can see how, or perhaps you can't see how, so I'm going to articulate it, that these 2 cards, the first 2 cards, talk about a path and a way of being that is open to us. So encouraging us to rise above the things that have kept us stuck, the beliefs, the behaviors, the responses, and going like, if we want to live here, then we have to be very deliberate. We have to be discerning. We have to use the energy we have in different ways. We have to see the world differently. We have to connect to the divine line as an empowered being, not as somebody who doesn't know what to do, but really somebody who, and I shouldn't say doesn't know what to do. Sometimes we hit a snag. I'm not sure how to go forward. I need some help. I need some advice. Is a very kind of focused needing help, as opposed to help me, I'm helpless, I can't do anything, I'm trapped. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't be there. Maybe you are. And so even in that situation, what do you need help with? If you feel totally helpless, you still need to focus on what is the one thing that I need help with now, right? It's like small focused steps. Just like I want help with everything. It's just, oh, I need to do everything. It's just, it shuts us down and we're not going to be able to do anything. So wherever we are, we want to focus on what kind of help do we need so that we can actually get it, see it, know it, and pull it in and use it to go to the next place. So when I see this card as the third card, it's that sense of being empowered and knowing you're taking a journey. So we're on a journey where we have a path of choice. This is a lot to do with the 5, with the idea of being in the 5-year. 5 is about change, or recognizing we are at a civil point, everything's changing and we are changing. And so we have this opportunity to take a different path. We don't know where it's going. We're not sure what it means. Whatever it is, whether it's the things about the vaccine or the pandemic or our religious beliefs or how people choose things, or abortion, or any of those things that might be dragging at you, pulling you down, making you feel powerless. It's like you have a choice on how you go forward. Do you want to buy into the old stuff? Do you still want to stick onto those things and operate from that place, which makes you feel powerless? That means you're buying into someone else's belief system, or the collective belief system that we've all been part of for so long. And here we have this opportunity to truly be in the circle of love, to truly allow ourselves to feel the power of being empowered and making the choices and doing the thing. Like when we're wanting this, upside down, when we're wanting this, right? It's our soul desire to be here, to live from this, in this place, so we can create magnificently and easily. And we know we have the divine line, so we can ask for the help we need and the way we need it. Then the next step is to take the action. So part of the action is saying, right, I'm here, I can feel this or that's dragging me back or holding me back. How can I shift out of that energy? What do I need to do? Do I need a guide? Do I need someone to help me? Do I need to take another step, learn something new, ask more questions? So I can truly take the path of the maze, knowing that although I don't know yet where I'm going, am I going here? Am I going there? Am I going there? Where am I going? I don't know yet. I may have an idea of what I want to achieve or where I want to go. However, when we're on the path, how deliberate are we? How much are we paying attention to the path? How much are we thinking about being here and what it takes, and allowing that to fill our being as we're traveling through the dark, through the unknown, through the curves where we can't see ahead, as we're listening, as we're receiving, as we're being in the intuitive energies and taking action, using the divine line to help us through this. We're given that sense of empowered way of being, an empowered way of walking, an empowered way of being, where we're going, yes, I can see that I am tired, that I need to rest. Yes, I can see that I'm overwhelmed. There are too many things going on. I need to sit down and consider, or take a pause, or somebody's yelling at me, or I typically go into fear when this happens. So let me break the typical so I can know that I'm making choices that empower me as opposed to making choices because they're there. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do X, Y, Z. Sometimes we do need to rely on our intuition, and sometimes we can use the divine line, or we can remember where we're going or what our intention is to help guide us. It's really important to understand that ultimately we are the mistress of our fate, the master, the mistress of our fate. We are the one in charge of the choices. We the ones that are choosing the path. So make the most of your choices. That doesn't mean that, oh, before I put my foot down, let me think about it. It's really getting clear and feeling the connection to the divine line, the connection to this, being connected to spirit, being connected to earth, knowing that we have to tread the path, that we have to be deliberate and focused and discerning and on purpose. So we can truly bust out of that old pattern and focus that has held us hostage for so long. I'm wishing you an amazing week. This is a powerful time, so take the time to sit with the truth of who you are, with the energy of your becoming. Sending you lots of love. Let me know how you're doing. Likes, comments, etc. Subscribes are always appreciated. And I do have a class coming up, a program, pilgrimage, the pilgrimage of the soul coming up, which is going to be teaching how to travel through into the dark and beyond, into the unknown, using the illuminating journey cards, as well as other practices to truly help you see with greater ability. If that's something you're interested in, you can drop me a line. My contact is below, and I will see you next week.